And throw your hands in the air. And wave them like you just don't care. And if you're ready to talk about marketing for programs, everybody say, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, everybody sit down. You have to wake you up real quick. We're about to talk about marketing. Isn't it so exciting to think about, hey, I'm going to be putting on programs for residents that are going to be in my hall. And oh, I'm going to tell them about it. And that's what marketing for programs is all about. So before we get started, I have a couple of learning outcomes. So by the end of this presentation, you should hopefully, these are things, doing things you possess. So I should educate RAs on effective marketing techniques for programming, including non-traditional marketing methods, progressive marketing, RA resources, etc. And then RAs should lead the session with plans to effectively market their programming for the upcoming year. Yay! So exciting, right? Marketing. So a quick analysis of the room. So I have a couple questions for you. So I'm going to ask these questions and hopefully you answer it, right? Is it good? Yeah, answer your questions. So, who has attended an RA program in the past? Raise your hand. Okay. So I see most of you have attended RA programs. So when people don't attend your programs in the future, don't be mad. Because you didn't attend theirs. So for those of you who did attend, why did you attend? Okay, so food. What else? Okay, so proximity, it was close. Anything else? Why did you attend? So most people attended the program just because they have free food. Not for the educational benefits, what you're supposed to learn when you were there, right? Maybe? Okay, well. So who remember advertised for a program, specifically you did or didn't attend? So do you remember any advertising for a program you went to or you did not go to? Let's some head shaking, yes. Anybody else? Right.
I know they would send out emails, and I don't know if the RAs put them on, but they were through the dorm, and they were like educational. Like people would come in from the writing center, like study skills or something. It wasn't an RA's name on it.
So academic mentors, maybe?
Maybe.
It was like in the TV lounge or like a public area in your hall? Okay.
Is that not through the RA program?
It's not through RAs, but it's through our department. It's a little different. You'll probably hear a little bit more about them later.
They send out the emails the day of. It's very difficult to get that.
That is good to know.
There was like this driving simulation one in Fowler. I don't really remember like the specifics of it. I didn't go, but it was just like, I don't know, they advertised it really well. Like they connected it to like Fast and Furious, so I was just like, yeah.
So the advertising really well, you still didn't go.
I know in White Creek they had a woman who used to be an FBI agent and come and talk about different topics and stuff that she was seeing and experiencing. I remember the flyers were like said fingerprints and all that other stuff like that.
Okay, so fingerprints, a picture of the person, so kind of giving you a background of who's actually coming. Anybody else? Right here.
They did that the murder mystery thing in Oakland, and they advertised it like in the pattern really well with the little tape outlines of the body stuff. It was pretty cool.
Good. So have you personally marketed an event before? And did that marketing work? It's a follow-up. So have you ever marketed an event before and did the marketing actually work? Do you feel like it did? Right here.
Yeah, what she just said, I was like, I don't put on like the radio stream and it looked bad. So like we did like we tried not to like do it. Just a regular advertisements. We did like big poster paper and then cut out like the body on the ground and everything like that. We had a really good turnout.
Anybody else? have another question for you. What is the difference between marketing and advertising? Does anybody know? Difference between
Is it making a profit versus not making a profit?
potentially. What else? All right, so marketing versus advertising. So marketing comprises many different components of the advertising. Advertising is actually a component of marketing. But when you think about marketing versus advertising, one of the things that kind of come into mind is thinking about it from a multifaceted approach. Thinking about not only advertising, but who are the people that I'm reaching out to? What do I know about them? What kind of research can I do about the people that I know that I'm going to be serving, and finding out ways to better serve them? So there's a research aspect into that. It's also thinking about the way that you place marketing in different places. Thinking about the place that you put it in, thinking about how people are going to view it wherever that it is. Advertising itself is just, putting up flyers and thinking about, oh, okay, this is the things that I'm going to put up on the wall. But marketing is thinking about different approaches to how people will kind of think about and consume information. Thank you for that. Also, by the way, I was a marketing major back in my undergrad days, so that was one of the things that I had to learn quickly. It's very different, marketing versus advertising. So, for you all to market a program, I have 4 different criteria today that I want you all to focus on, okay? And so pretty simple words: who, what, when, and where. And so those are the 4 different criteria for marketing a program that I want you all to kind of focus on today and throughout the year when you think about marketing programs that you're going to be doing in your hall. So, who? Who are the people you are marketing to? Residents on your floor, residents in the entire building, Live and Learning Community residents, the A&M community. Do you think you will market a program to all these different groups in the same way? So no, why not? Why would you market to them in the same way?
They're not as appealing to all the same group for the same reasons.
All right, not appealing to the same groups for the same reasons. Anything else?
The slogan itself, the way you advertise for your entire floor, you don't have to expand as much as what it's a lot more cool to have inform everybody in the community because you're informed.
Okay. Anything else? So just kind of focusing on these different points in particular. I mean, residents on your floors, these are residents that are personally yours. Residents in the building, it's a bigger scope. You're advertising for more people. And so you're gonna hopefully have a bigger marketing plan to reach all the people that are in your building. Live and Learning Community residents. This one right here can sometimes be a tricky one for those of you who will be working with Live and Learning communities because they might be residents that are on your floor, but there's more residents on your floor than them. And so you have to think about ways of how to reach these certain people that are on my floor and not everybody else, because this program is particularly for the people that are in my Live and Learning community and the A&M community. We do have some programs, like I know FHK does Boiled Advance, that is for the A&M community and for anybody to come to. Marketing for something like that is very, very, very different than marketing for just residents on your floor because of the scope of the program and the type of people that you're trying to reach out to. And so knowing your constituents and knowing the people that you're going to be reaching out to is something very important. Do you know your audience and what appeals to them? And so one of the quick ways to find out about your audience and what actually appeals to them is to ask them. Come with a survey. Ask them what kind of marketing, what they like to see. Ask them about what kind of programs, what they like to see. Ask them what kind of things works for them. Does flyers work better? Does social media work better for you? Does when I pull up, a big bulletin board outside of my door that says programs on, does that work for you? So being able to kind of ask people and research what they actually like might be a good way to figure out the who part of, okay, these are the people that I know that I'm going to be marketing to, and this is what they like to see. And so being able to go out there and ask that question and get that feedback from the people that you're going to be serving is something that's very important. What? What is the message that you want to convey? So you have a program that you want to put on, you have the program what it's going to be, but what kind of message do you want to convey to people in your marketing so they know about the program information-wise and also be attracted to come to it? So be informative and detailed. in your marketing, if you really want somebody to know about the details of your program, depending on what it is, make sure that they know what exactly the program is. I mean, sometimes ambiguous marketing can work depending on what you're trying to go for, but when you're informative and you're detailed in your marketing, people know exactly what they're getting themselves into. And maybe more likely to come because it's not going to be any, I guess, big surprises of what's going to be coming up because they know the kind of program they signed up to come to. Make the message interesting, you know. Think about different ways to kind of reach out to people and put it in a way that's more interesting for them. One of the ways I kind of think about this, you know, when making a message interesting is you would market to someone in our age group very differently than you would market to somebody who's in perhaps maybe an older age group because different things appeal to us. Make sure you use those different things like in pop culture that might make your message a little bit more interesting. It might stand out a little bit more. And so how will you grab their attention? Graphics. Using graphics on your flyers or whatever medium that you use may be something that be beneficial when marketing your programs. Delivery of the message. How you actually deliver it is something that's going to be important too, and we'll talk about that with the next one, which is when. So, or actually we'll talk about that in the fourth one. So when should you start your marketing campaign? And so that kind of depends on whether it's a continuous program versus a one-time program. A lot of programs that you put on your hall will be one-time programs, but there might be continuous things you'll do like maybe like a canned food drive, they'll go throughout a week, or you might do like a game night every Friday. And so the ways that you market for those different programs are going to look very, very different. Also depends on the medium you choose to advertise with. Whether they're going to be doing flyers, whether they're going to be doing social media, whether they're going to be doing guerrilla marketing, all those different things kind of affect when you start your marketing campaign. And also, one last thing is keep the school calendar in mind whenever you start to think about when to market and start your marketing campaign. If you're going to do an event, let's say, oh, we're going to do an event on the day after Thanksgiving break, okay? So obviously students are going to be gone for most of that prior week, right? So should you market that week? Just put your marketing the week before the program and nobody's going to be there? Maybe not. Maybe you shouldn't start to market a program that's on the Monday after Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving week, because nobody's going to be there. Same with spring break, okay? Nobody's going to be on campus, so nobody's going to see your marketing. And guess what? Nobody's going to show up. Isn't that a shocker? Where? So where is your message going to be used? What is your medium for marketing? Guerrilla marketing. Actually going out, look at people straight in the face, and be like, hey, I want you to come to my program. Will you come? And tell people about your program. Guerrilla marketing, actually getting out there in the faces of people and asking them, hey, like when you come to my program, this is what it's about. I would love to see you there. You know, face-to-face communication, you know, works really well for people, and especially for your residents. It shows that you're invested in them, and you actually want them to come to this program because you want to see them reap the benefits from what you're going to be trying to educate them on. Door tags. So I'm sure some of you have probably seen door tags. It's literally a little tag on your door that says, this is the program, this is when it is, and you should come out. Electronic media, so social media, emails. Some halls have a social media account. We have a social media account for ours. It's @WreckingCrew, WRECKING, you can follow whenever you want to. And we advertise, you know, programs, different things that we have going in the hall, and kind of keep people, kind of interact with people and kind of build, and we try to build a online community for the Cougar Hall residents that are going to be in our hall this year. And so once we have that community, this is an avenue for us to be able to market to people because people pay attention to our Twitter, they pay attention to our Facebook page. Emails. Your hall director will more than likely have an email list. And so being able to send out emails to your residents about the programs that you have might be something that might be helpful. Print media. So your flyers, your banners, your yard signs. The thing about print media is that sometimes residents can be inundated with flyers. You'll see that you have a flyer board, and it's typically pretty covered with flyers. But I also recommend that you put up flyers anyway. Banners, putting up a banner, you know, in maybe a high profile spot within your hall might be a good place to put that. Somewhere where people can kind of see this information in a big format, and they can't miss it because it's a big banner right in front of their face, right by the door. Yard signs. So even outside of your hall, you know, putting up a little yard sign so that people walk by the hall to see that you have a program going on. Progressive marketing. So progressive marketing is an idea of catching people's attention by being able to kind of put up something, typically a banner, that will kind of add information to kind of keep people locked in. So for example, if I want to do a progressive marketing campaign, got this little thing of popcorn up here. So let's say I wanted to advertise a movie night. So we got the popcorn. And so let's say we put that up 2 weeks beforehand. So we put the popcorn up, right? And so it's just kind of sitting there. People know, it's like, oh, there's a big popcorn there. And then the next day, it has this little Hollywood sign on it, right in the middle of it. And so it's kind of like adding things to the marketing to kind of keep people's attention drawn in to see what's going to happen next with this piece of paper that is on the wall. And so maybe the next time, okay, a week later, you can start writing in information right here about the event that's going on. And typically you would put progressive marketing campaigns, you put it in a high traffic place so that when people walk by it, they see it and they can see it progress and become a bigger marketing campaign for you. And so where will your message be delivered? High traffic areas, which was what I kind of talked about. You know, putting it in an area where a lot of people are going to walk by so they're able to kind of see the advertising marketing that you're putting up. Posting on social media during peak times. There's different apps and different tools you can find out when your peak times are if you have a social media account. And so putting it on there when your viewers are actually viewing your social media will actually be a good time for you to be able to market your things if you choose social media as a medium that you want to use. And so lastly, just kind of some general tips. Actually create a marketing plan and stick to it. Sometimes people don't create a marketing plan, they just create programs, say I'm just gonna do something. So, but when you actually get strategic about it and you create a marketing plan beforehand and you're intentional on how you want to get the message out there, I think it pays off dividends when people actually know about your program. They know why they should be coming to it and then actually come to it because you actually sat down and developed a strategic marketing plan for what you're going to be doing versus just saying, I'm going to throw this event, I'm going to throw this flyer, and no people come. Use more than one medium of marketing for your programs. I would recommend at least 2. So if you are going to do flyers, maybe try to do social media, or maybe you're going to do flyers, you're going to do word of mouth, you're going to try to do guerrilla marketing. Try to use 2 of those different mediums at the minimum to try to market your programs instead of just relying on one thing to work. Because people perceive information in different ways, and information is kind of good for people to see it in different ways. So something that might work better for me might not work good for Liddell. You know, we have 2 different ways we would like to perceive information, and so putting it out there in 2 ways can help you potentially reach 2 different crowds. Don't wait until the last minute to market your programs, which kind of goes back to point 1. If you wait last minute to market your program, somebody's going to show up because what? They didn't make the time for it. They didn't make the time to come to your program because you marketed it very last minute and they didn't know anything about it. Be creative. I mean, sometimes people struggle with creativity, but guess what? If somebody in your hall is creative, they kind of help you out a little bit. Use your resources. Okay, there's a staff, more than just one of you. You're not an RA alone. You have a graduate hall director, you have a community director. Use them with being creative is something that comes naturally for you. And also ask your GHD, CD, or other RAs for advice. You know, they've marketed programs before, they've had successful programs, they also have flop programs too. You know, so they can give you advice on things that they've done in the past, you know, with their programs to market them and make them successful and make people want to come to them. So I have a couple examples of marketing, and I want you to tell me whether you think this is a good example of marketing or a bad example of marketing. So what about this? What about this flyer that I have up here for my program? Is it a good example of marketing or a bad example?
Which one's yours? The one buried or the one on top?
Is it a good example or a bad example? What do you think? So I'll probably say it's a bad example. Why? Because you can't even find it. You know, what's the point of marketing in the spot or marketing location where you can't even find information that you're trying to get out? I mean, it's plenty of flyers up here. I told you to find my flyer up there, but you can't. Why? Because it's surrounded by many other flyers, and it's just a whole bunch of information overload. And so when thinking about, you know, your events and your programs, make sure that you try to choose places that are a little less messy or a little less information heavy than this. So that's the marketing. Is this a good example or a bad example? Why is it good?
Creative.
Why is it creative?
It's a mouth.
It's a mouth.
That's a light bulb, that's cool.
And do y'all see like what it's for? It's for a dentist. Okay, so he was pretty creative. It's still, you still very much know when you pull that out, what's a tooth, it's number to a dentist, they want me to come to the dentist, you know. Is this a good example or a bad example?
It's just Risk, a lot of things.
So exactly. So you want your marketing to be concise. You want people to know what you're actually trying to market, you know? And so making sure that your message is concise and to the point is something that's very important when people look at your marketing, because you could end up with something like this. It's talking about ribs, it's talking about a funeral home, it's talking about $99, a wheelchair, accessible. And so it's like, what are you even trying to get me to do? Because I don't understand because of your marketing. But this one. Do you feel like this is a good example, marketing, or a bad example? I did some head shaking. Yeah. I would say this one is pretty good. I mean, they are advertising for a week full of programs, and so all the different programs appear on there. It lists the name of the programs. It kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what's going to be going on. And one thing I like at the top is that they had using the keep calm, which is a pop culture reference. And so being able to kind of put things like that, people will recognize what that is. When they see this crown, they know what that means. And so, using images like that can also be helpful in your marketing, because people have seen these types of images before, and it'll automatically draw them into it and the information that's on the rest of the sheet. So one of the last things is taboo housing policies on marketing. So no profanity, can't cuss in your marketing, can't do that. No obscenities, direct or implied, are not allowed. Obscene drawings and or pictures are not allowed, so anything seen, basically be smart. Inappropriate or derogatory comments, slangs, pictures, or drawings directed towards other halls, organization groups, or individuals are not allowed, so you can't talk bad about another hall when you're advertising. No references should be made that are in conflict with or do not support the university / residence hall rules, so you can't say that you're going to throw a kegger, because you can't have alcoholic kegs, but you can have root beer kegs. 5, all newsletters, publicity, and websites must have prior approval from the CDGHD. If in doubt, ask the coordinator of residence life, which is our supervisor, community director. Items may be posted in approved posting areas, not on glass doors or painted surfaces. Are not responsible for removing publicity when the activity is over. So when you are done, with the program, take the flyers down. Don't leave them up for 3 weeks, okay? It's all a little sloppy. Non-compliance with any of the other above may result in the restriction of the use of funds and or student conduct action, so you may get in trouble if you decide to post something obscene on the wall, and you might also end up losing your job because you didn't, follow policies just like every other resident is supposed to do. So I had an activity, but we're out of time. So thank you very much. Any questions?
I have a comment.
Yes.
Think about when you're advertising and you want to place something up. Think about where your residents actually look. So in my building, there's a lot of them that look down, and we've told our RAs all year, why don't you put something on the ground where they look, because then they'll do that. And they did it once, and we had a really great turnout, and they haven't done it again. So think about that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.